John D, I know how big you are on these two guys from Rutgers being the number two, the consensus number 2 and the number 3 pick in the draft. I mean, does winning matter at all? And the reason why I'm asking you this is because these two guys were on the same team. Rutgers was garbage.
Real quick, chill.
They're the worst team.
I don't know if I've confessed my bias towards a certain Duke center. He's my number 3 prospect. He's my number 3 prospect. We're gonna talk about him in a second.
No way you think he's better than Ace.
You had him going 6 on your mock draft you did yesterday.
I just don't.
The South Sudanian kid, is that who you talking about?
Between that though, I just don't know if the Hornets would take him over Mark Williams. I would. Yep. I wouldn't bet on it. And then when you have the Sixers, would they take him knowing they still have on top of the Jazz? I don't know.
John D, he got conspiracy. That's why. That's what
he got. What Chill just asked is a very legit question.
Yeah,
these two. You got these two dudes that are both supposed to go top 5. They're on the same team. We're talking about college basketball. Two guys of that level of basketball should be in the tournament
at minimum.
We're talking college hoops.
I agree.
These two,
I agree.
There's no way you can fight that.
I'm saying I don't watch enough college basketball to tell you why.
Right. So that's my only thing. At some point, it's like, okay, y'all two are obviously very talented, but how do y'all contribute to winning basketball if both of y'all are together and y'all ain't even get to the dance? Like I'm not saying this about the 4. I'm talking about. I'm gonna blame basketball. Y'all need what I don't know what NAL got to do with the hardwood. These two kids are supposed to be amazing, and they are very good basketball players. I can see that. But how do y'all win basketball games if both of y'all are together?
I think
but they chose to go to Rutgers because of the NIL money. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They could have went to Sacramento State.
Just to talk about the game,
they could have went to Sac State, and they need to be in the dance. You two, y'all two together. Why? I don't care what school you went to. It don't matter what school you went to.
First of all, Ace Bailey definitely disappointed. I don't think Dylan Harper is as good as people think they are, but they were both
freshmen. And we're going to spend another pick in the draft on these dudes.
And hang on. And what I want to say is their roster around them was one of the worst college basketball supporting casts I've ever seen in my life, and they played a pretty tough conference. So please understand that element of it before, because the Big Ten is as hard as it gets. You're facing some really, really good teams.
100%.
And you have 2 freshmen, one of whom started the season out atrociously in Ace Bailey, but turned it around later. And Dylan Harper, who's primarily going to, get to the rim and be a creator, and he don't got nobody to create for. So he cooked. He did well. And I think people are trying to remove the context. Cade Cunningham didn't win a lot in college basketball.
We're not going to stop right there, Penn. We're not
more than
context. Because this is what you're telling me, Penn. What you're telling me is that. So what you're telling me?
He had 5 stars on his roster.
Mark Cohen, man.
Was the two?
Antonio Blake.
And how did these guys turn out?
I'm talking about 2 top 3 picks. I ain't talking about no 5-star. I don't care the stars. I'm talking about top 3 picks.
Right. Duke had players coming off the bench that were way better.
But you think Zach Edey was the best player in college basketball last year? He was the 9th pick, because obviously being the best in college and being the best NBA prospect aren't synonymous.
Two different
yeah, but you're supposed to be winning games, though.
Luka Garza was the best player in the country. Where was he drafted?
Oscar Tshiebwe was.
You're supposed to be winning games, though.
Being the best
Garza wasn't the best player in the country, though.
Being the best,
he definitely wasn't.
He was close.
Being
the best prospect and being the best college player aren't synonymous. And I think we've seen enough with the NBA this season, even in the playoffs. Having the 2 best players on the court doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the game.
I hate to step in and interrupt this intense yap session that you're currently watching, but I just have to inform you on all the amazing, spectacular, fabulous, endless ways to play and win over at Prize Picks. Basketball fans, I know the season is just tipping off. Yes, I know this. But you know what that means? It means that you have an opportunity to pick your favorite players and their matchups that are the most thrilling, and you can win money from these. With Prize Picks, you can play daily NBA contests and test your hoop knowledge by choosing the player projections and every single stat line imaginable to make your Prize Picks and take home some nice hard-earned cash. Are you a rookie in the game? Don't even sweat it. I got the playbook for you right here. All you have to do is download Prize Picks, use promo code PANEL, and you will get $50 instantly when you play 5. here with Prize Picks. So what are you waiting for? Download Prize Picks, use promo code PANEL, and join me as we break down all of our amazing daily picks right here on the panel. Prize Picks. Run your game, control your game, win your game. It's easy, baby. It's easy.
Hey, I'm talking college ball. I'm talking college ball. No, it's not all basketball.
We're past the point where you can just have the two best players on the court and just win games all the time.
And wait. I want to address that directly. In college basketball and high school basketball, the levels are so different. Like even in Division I college basketball, there's a difference in level to where you if you're already coming in. So I understand once the draft is up, when you know who's picking where, fit matters. But when you go into the season and everybody's already, these are the top 5 picks, that means that those dudes are typically going to be the best 5 players, the most dominant 5 players. So if you got 2 guys that are at that level, at a level in college basketball, they should be able to lift their team up a lot more than what these 2 did. Now, I'm not saying these guys can't play basketball. I just think what Chill asked was a very valid question.
Yeah,
I don't
think a lot of. Go ahead.
Keep going, John.
I don't think look in the Big Ten, like, because that's the conference they're in.
Well,
what team should they have been better?
And Mars, this is the point
that they should have been top 5 in the Big Ten.
And Mars, this is the wait a minute.
Why
Mars,
not? They got 2 of the best players that's in there. I don't.
That's not how it works, man.
Why is that not how it works?
Hold on. Hang on 1 second. Is Dylan Harper right now a better player than Walter Clayton Jr.? No, he's not. Is Ace Bailey better?
Is. Yes,
you
he
think
is.
Dylan Harper's better than Walter Clayton Jr.?
Yes, okay, I do. If you would have put Dylan Harper on Florida team, they would have been doing the same thing.
Okay, cool. Yes, maybe you can make that argument. Can you make the argument?
It sounds like he's a winning player then.
Hang on. Can you make the argument that Ace Bailey is a better player than Meek Clifford? Hang on. Is Ace Bailey better than Meek Clifford? No, he's not.
That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing, Mars. That's not the same thing, Mars, because Walter Clayton Jr. is not a top 5 pick. He damn near 25th in undrafted.
My point is, if you're saying he would do the same thing as Walter Clayton,
no, it's not about. No, first of all, because y'all want to argue
was make the dance. All I said was make it to the dance. Yes, they should have been in the dance. I'm not saying it should. That's it.
Hold on, because they want to confuse the argument. It's not about Dylan Harper not being a winning player. It's the fact that you're going to draft a non-winning player at number 2 who's supposed to turn your franchise around. That's the problem. When you did not win nothing in college.
But this
he didn't win shit. No,
but you can be. If you're saying he would do the same thing as Walter Clayton, then he is a winning player.
But that's not what teams are doing.
It's not the same. Hold on, it's not the same because Walter Clayton Jr. is not going to be a top 2 pick. That's the problem. Walter Clayton Jr. played with a bunch of different guys.
They won a national championship.
Yeah, so Walter Clayton is a winning player.
They won a national championship.
Dylan Harper would do the same thing. So that means the player is a winning player. The situation he was losing it.
Mars, you're not listening though.
No, we don't.
Walter Clayton is
at this point. I don't want to.
Walter Clayton is not a number 2 pick. So I wouldn't expect Walter Payton, bro. I wouldn't expect Walter Clayton to go to Rutgers and be good as Dylan Harper. I wouldn't expect that. No, but my only thing is I'm trying to answer your question. You want to hear what you want to hear. But what I'm trying to tell you is what I'm trying to tell you is if you're that guy, that's like Cooper Flagg being at Duke and they not making a tournament, but he's a consistent number 1 all pick.
It's a little different.
If Duke were a bad team outside
of
Cooper Flagg,
James,
if Duke were a horrible team outside of Cooper Flagg, and then they didn't make the tournament,
he wouldn't have made the tournament.
Well, maybe
you gotta understand.
What the hell are y'all talking about?
No, Jordan. If roster are freshmen though.
Yeah, if you drop Cooper Flagg in New York at Rutgers, they're not going to be what Duke is.
If Cooper Flagg was at Rutgers, they would have made the tournament.
Nobody said they got
like they would have made the tournament if Cooper Flagg was at Rutgers.
And that's cool. But
here's the thing, though.
Here's also what you guys got to factor in. It's also what you guys got to factor in. So John D just said it. It's a bunch of freshmen over there. On top of that, and I know Duke has a lot of freshmen too, but they have these level of freshmen.
Yeah.
Rutgers had these level of freshmen and a couple other young guys. Here's the thing: is it's
two
like,
guys that's going to be a top 5 pick.
No, Jordan, we understand that. We understand that, and they're extremely talented. We understand that. My thing is, you can't be mad. You can't be mad at a bunch of 18-year-olds for not being able to step into a new college game. This isn't the old college. This is a new college game.
See, Ron, that's
transfer portal. Hold on, wait. Let me make my point. You don't even know what I'm about to say. You about to jump out the screen. You don't even know what I'm about to say.
Keep going, Ron.
It's the new college game where players are staying longer. This is just factual. Players are transferring more. This is just factual. Teams are building super teams. This is just factual. You have more juniors. You have more seniors. You had the COVID year where there's 5th and 6th year seniors. Yep. I can't be mad at a bunch of 18-year-olds, regardless of how good you guys say they are, regardless of how good everybody hypes them up and all of that stuff, for not being able to carry a bunch of other freshmen and sorry-ass kids to the dance. I understand that their expectations are up here. I understand that. But the reason why I'm bringing out their age is because at 18 years old, you are flawed. These kids have to I don't know if Dylan Harper is a winner or if he's a loser. We don't know that yet because the die isn't cast. All we know is that he's a growing young prospect. So for Ron, us to drop
everything that you said, don't let Ron off the hook with this, because everything you said, that's what they're expecting him to do when we get to the next level, and I'm paying you millions and millions of dollars.
And what happens? No, they're paying millions and millions of dollars at Rutgers.
You guys are expecting
millions of dollars at Rutgers.
And what happens if he doesn't do it?
Then it was a bust.
Okay, maybe he was a bust in college.
You know why he wasn't a bust in college, Ron? Because we only saw him one season. So maybe he ain't ready yet. Maybe he's not ready to get to that level yet. Maybe this is what I'm thinking.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not holding him to that level.
The point that I was trying to make to you, Mars, was exactly that. So now what we're gonna do with this kid is both of these kids who weren't contributing to winning, I'm going to invest a number 2 and a number 3 pick at a better level, not only at a better level, with more at stake, more money to these kids who I'm not even sure what they were doing at college is going to translate to the pros. Am I doing the right thing? Are these guys not ready yet? Am I jumping the gun on these guys? That's the thing that I'm thinking about.
This is the thing, because one, Rutgers team has 9 out of 15 freshmen on the team. Even when they're bringing in freshmen, you look at teams like Duke, like Baylor, with some of these better prospects, they had seniors in there. They had, what's the guy's name? Tyrese Proctor is a 5th-year senior. You know, they have guys like
Sion. They killed the transfer portal and national signing.
They have some of the better transfers coming over from across the country, coming in to play for Duke, having one of the better roster constructed teams in college basketball. When you look at Rutgers and they have 2 freshman prospects that are trying to carry this team full of 7 other freshmen and guys that aren't necessarily making Rutgers their first pick to come over there, I don't necessarily look at the winning and be like, oh, I'm not drafting him because of the winning. Ace Bailey has far more other concerns than just them not being able to win games. Dylan Harper has concerns as well that go far beyond.
Have you ever thought that part of the reason why Rutgers don't win game 2 though is because the way Ace Bailey play? That doesn't factor into your mind that he played bullshit ass basketball at Rutgers and he might play bullshit ass basketball in the NBA.
That's why he's not my top 3 prospect. That's why he's not my top 3 prospect though.
He's not yours, but
not mine.
But okay.
One thing, Tyrese Proctor was not
a top 5 prospect.
Tyrese Proctor was a junior. He's not a 5th-year senior. He's 21 years old. Number 1. So I just want to correct that. Number 1. Number 2, teams are not drafting players for who they are today. They're drafting them for who they think they're going to be in 5 years. So winning matters, because when I see you in a winning context, when I see you in a tough game, I get more intel on you. Rutgers didn't have meaningful games down the stretch because they were a terrible team. So there's a part of the evaluation with these young players that's maybe missing. That's the same thing that people said about kids coming out of high school. I haven't seen you go to the college level. I haven't seen you get exposed to that level. It's the same thing people were saying about James Wiseman. He only played a handful of games at Memphis, and then he shut it down for the season. It's what people said about Shaedon Sharpe. People said, I didn't see him play. I didn't see him play in college basketball. I don't know what he's going to be. You have to guess. I'm telling you, it's all hypotheticals. So if you want to think that Dylan Harper is trash because he was on a bad team, or Ace Bailey doesn't contribute to winning because he struggled, that's your prerogative. But at the end of the day, an NBA draft evaluator is saying, I'm looking at Dylan Harper. I'm looking at Ace Bailey. I'm looking at Nick Clifford. Nick Clifford was a winning player. These guys weren't. These guys are going to be better.
it's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started, the player choice way. Yeah, the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.